Okay, so we're going to start basically our last unit for the semester, which is trigonometry. So that's the study of triangles.
And geos. That's multiplication, right? So this would be 5 first,
Yeah.
and then it'd be 6 times 5 minus 11.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Learn it.
So it's the study of triangles. Okay, we're gonna start with the study of right triangles, and then we're gonna move to the study of other types of triangles, the oblique ones. So first we're gonna look at some vocabulary essentials, and then we're gonna discuss a few things on how to name a triangle, how to label a triangle, and things like this before we can move on to solving triangles. So when I'm talking about an angle of, so I'm gonna read the description. It's an angle that falls from the horizontal, and it's also known as the angle of declination. So this is your horizontal, it's right here. Right? This is so not aligned. So this is your horizontal line, right? So if I'm looking at an angle that forms with the horizontal line, and that falls from it. So if it falls from the horizontal, right, we call this angle of depression. Okay? So the angle of depression is the angle that forms from the horizontal down to the line. Right here. Now the angle, so this is going to be angle of depression. So remember that an angle of depression is the angle that is measured from the horizontal down. So let's say if I'm standing right here and I'm looking at that bag that's on the ground, right? And I say that the angle of depression from my eye of sight to that bag is, let's say, 30 degrees. Basically, I'm gonna have to draw a horizontal line coming out of my eyes, and the 30 degrees is the angle that, with that line forming out of my eyes and the horizontal line. Okay? Now the other angle is called the angle of elevation, and that angle of elevation is I'm looking up from that line of horizontal line that's coming out of my eyes to the top of the ceiling, to the top of the object that I'm looking at. That's the angle of elevation. Okay, so my two angles that you're gonna see is angle of depression, angle of elevation. You have to remember that they are measured from the horizontal to the object. We use Greek letters when we talk about angles. They like to use the Greek letters, and the often used Greek letter is the letter theta. So the letter theta looks like O, but it has that, thing, so it's called theta. And it's a symbol often used to represent a missing angle. What do we call the triangle that has a 90-degree angle?
Right angle triangle.
Right angle triangle. So a right triangle has one 90-degree angle.
So tried to jump right through, right? So I'm doing brackets, exponents, division, multiplication.
Whatever
addition,
appears.
subtraction.
So division, multiplication, whatever appears first.
Okay, so when I look at this one, right?
Yeah.
So I went to the brackets here, and then now I'm like 11 minus 5 is 6 squared times 2 cubed divided by -4 squared, right? So then it's 36 times 8 divided by 16. Do I do this first?
No.
No.
You have to do the multiplication because that
So I'm
shows up
gonna go
first.
288 divided by 16.
That's So any triangle that is not right triangle is called an oblique triangle. You guys have these things, right? Then we have, in oblique triangle, we have more specification, okay? So it could be either an acute triangle or it could be an obtuse triangle. Okay, it depends on what kind of angle do we have in that oblique triangle. So if I have an acute angle, all three angles are acute. What does acute mean? Acute angles means
Angles that measures 45.
less than
Less than
90,
five.
right? So acute angles mean less than 90 degrees. Okay? So I have all three angles that are less than 90 degrees. Then we call that acute triangle. And the triangle that has one obtuse angle, so obtuse means greater than 90. We call that an obtuse triangle. Okay, so you have two options other than the right triangle. You have the acute triangle, so all the angles are less than 90 each. And then you have the obtuse triangle, where you have one angle that's greater than 90, and obviously the other two are less than 90. So we said that the right angle is equal to 90 degrees. The acute angle is less than 90 degrees. The obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees. In any triangle, when I add all three angles together, all three interior angles together, what am I going to get? 180 degrees. So in any triangle, adding all the three angles is going to sum up to 180 degrees. Now we're going to look at the right angle triangle right here. So we have a right angle triangle. The longest side is always going to be that side that's opposite to the 90 degrees. Okay? So you're always going to locate your 90 degrees. And the side that's across from it, that's opposite to it, is called the hypotenuse. And it's always your longest side. This is not going to change. You're always going to look for your 90 degree, and you're going to call that one hypotenuse. And it is your longest side. Then we're going to call, so let's say if I'm given an angle, or I'm looking for an angle, we call that angle the angle of focus. So this is the angle that we're going to look at, and this is the angle that we're going to analyze the sides according to this angle. So that angle of focus is usually either given to you or you're looking for. Okay? Then we're going to name the sides according to this. So if I look at this angle of focus, which one is opposite? Which side is opposite to this angle?
The adjacent.
Which side is opposite to this angle?
Opposite.
It's the opposite side, right? So this is called your opposite side right here, because that's the one opposite to it. And we're going to call the third side the adjacent. So, in a triangle, right, you're gonna have a right triangle. Right away, you're gonna say this is the hypotenuse because that's the one across from the line. Okay? Now, they're gonna give you an angle or they want you to look for an angle. It could be this angle or it could be this angle. Whatever it is. So let's say this is your angle that you're looking for or the angle that you know. Then you're gonna name your triangle according to this angle. So this is going to be your opposite side because that's across from this angle. And this is going to be your adjacent. Now, if you have this again, but this is your angle of interest, okay, or angle of focus, the hypotenuse is not gonna change, but now which one is your opposite side?
One at the bottom.
The one at the bottom. So now this is going to be your opposite and this is going to be your adjacent. So it's important to know where is your angle of focus or which angle is your angle of focus so you can name your triangle according to it. Are we okay with that? So the side labeled is across from the angle of focus in the right angle triangle. So this labeled opposite is across and the side labeled adjacent is attached to the angle of focus in the right angle. And then we can say the angle of focus is the angle given or the angle to be found in the right triangle. When I'm labeling a triangle, you always use capital letters for the angles and you use small letters for the side. And this is what happens. So if I have a triangle here, and I have angle A, B, C, right? I label my angles as the capital letters. Then side A is going to be across from angle A. Side B is going to be across from angle B, and side C is going to be across from angle C. Okay? This is the proper labeling of triangles. Now, what did we say the largest side would be in a right angle triangle?
Hypotenuse.
The hypotenuse, right? And that's because it's across from the largest angle. What would the angle add up to in a right angle? In any triangle? What would they add up to?
180.
180. Okay? This angle here has half of the 180, right? So it has 90 of the 180. So the other two have 90 degrees left shared together. So basically this is your largest angle, right? In the right angle triangle. So because this is the largest angle right here, the side that's across from it is gonna be the largest side. Okay? And then the smaller angle will have the opposite smaller side. So let's say if I have, for example, another triangle here, this is going to be, let's say, 95 degrees. Let's say this is 30. Let's make it 35. So this is 130 degrees, and I have 50 left for this one, right? Which one would be your longest side? Let's label this. A, B, C. Which side would be your longest side? Opposite to 95, which is, we're gonna call it side A, and that's your greatest side. Okay? Why? Because it's opposite to the greatest angle. Okay? Which one's gonna be your smallest side? Opposite to angle C, so it's gonna be side C. That's gonna be your smaller side, or smallest, right? Because it's across from your smallest angle. Does it make sense? The last thing that we're gonna look at is when a question's asking you to solve a triangle, it's asking you to find every missing angle and every missing side. Solve for the triangle, I wanna know what each side length equal to, what each angle equal to. Okay? So it's more than one step. Are you guys okay with this so far? Now, when you set up your calculator, you need to make sure that your calculator is set up to, you guys don't have that? Here, that page is missing. See? Okay, that page is missing for some reason. I will go find it and photocopy it for you. So make sure that your calculator is set up to degrees. So on the top of your calculator, it should say DEG, or it should say D, or nothing. If it says RAD or GRAD or whatever, that is incorrect. So make sure that your calculator on the top says DEG or D or nothing. Okay? If you don't know how to do that, just call me. Then we're gonna look at different things on the calculator. So you should be able to locate sine, cosine, and tan on your calculator. And then on top of the sine, cosine, and tan, you see the inverse function, which is sine to the power of -1, cos to the power of -1, and tan to the power of -1. We're gonna be using this. In order for you to be able to use this, you have to use the shift button or the second button. So you do shift sine, that will give you sine inverse. Or you do shift cosine, and that would give you cosine inverse. Okay? And when we are finding your final answer, you're gonna have to make sure that you round your sides to 1 decimal place and your angles to a whole number. And whenever you're finding trig ratio, it's gonna be 4 decimals. Most of the time you're gonna find the side length, so it should be to 1 decimal place. We're gonna round up or down. Your angles cannot be to a certain degree. It has to be rounded up to the nearest degree. Can't have decimal for the angles. Okay?